Good morning, Year 7. So, been having quite a few questions recently about lesson 4 and mainly the distance time graphs. So, what the plan is, I'm going to try and talk you through how to do some of those questions, go for an example, show you what the graph looks like and what the graph means. So, the example I'm going to talk you through is the migrating birds. So, it starts off with migrating birds, they travel 3,000 kilometers in 15 days. So, each day they rest for 12 hours. So, first thing is we need to do, first off, we need to show how far they travel in a day. So to do that, we need to do 3,000 kilometers divided by 15 days. That's what this symbol here means. It basically just means divide. So when we do 3,000 divided by 15, that gives us 200. So that 200 means that they are traveling 200 kilometers in a single day. So if we were going to put that information into a graph, what we need to do is we need to have our time along the bottom, along the x-axis. So here, this example, I've chosen to go up by 12 hours each time. So we start off with 12 hours, 24, 36, 48, 60, and then 72. Now, the reason why we've gone up in 12 hours is because, like the example said at the beginning, the birds rest for 12 hours. So there's 12 hours where they're not moving, 12 hours where they're traveling. And then along the y-axis, we're going to go up. This is our distance, so this is our kilometers. So remember, at the beginning we worked out it's 200 kilometers a day. So our scale is going to go up in 200s. So we've got 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, etc. So our first line here, starting from 0. So this is our first part of the journey. So our birds are going from the starting point. They're going to travel for their first 12 hours. They're going to travel 200 kilometers. Then what happens next is, remember, they're going to rest. So they're going to rest for 12 hours here. So they're not moving. This is where they're resting. So a flat line on a distance time graph means that they aren't moving. So they're staying at the same place for 12 hours. Next. So the next day, this is day 2 now. So again, we draw a line. We're going up from 200 meters, so 200 kilometers to 400 kilometers. Again, and this is in a 12 hour. So half a day, they traveled another 200 kilometers. So now totally they've traveled 400 kilometers. And then again, they have another 12 hours rest. So whilst they're resting, they are not moving. So they're not traveling any further along on their journey. In fact, that's the end of day 2. So then start after 48 hours, after 2 days, they again, another 200 kilometers. So they've traveled 400 to 600 kilometers, again in that 12 hours. And the same again, when they're after they've traveled their 12 hours, they're going to rest for another 12 hours. Again, not moving. So the general pattern of this would just continue to look like this. So point where it's going up, then it's going flat, going up again, flat, up, and then flat. Okay, now we're going to go through some examples of where we're calculating speed. So we already did an example of calculating speed. So at the beginning, we looked at our migrating birds. We've got 3,000 kilometers. That was our distance. 15 days. That was our time. So what we need to do is need to do the distance divided by the time. So the 3,000 divided by the 15. And like we did earlier, that gives us 200 kilometers. This is our speed, remember. So we've got our 200 kilometers a day. So looking to another example, we're going to look at a sprinter. So a sprinter travels 100 meters in 10 seconds. So to calculate the speed, we need to do 100 meters divided by 10. So that gives us a speed of 10 meters a single second. Now, in some of those examples, let's look at another one here. This one, this is where it gets slightly more difficult. Well, now we've got, this is again with our migrating birds. This time we aren't given a distance. We know that the time is 15 days, and we know the speed is 200 kilometers a day. So we need to change our formula around now. So we're going to move the time. We're going to move it over to this side. Because it's a divide at this side, when we move it past an equals, it turns to the opposite. So the opposite of divide, it will then become a times. So it'll be the speed times the time equals the distance. So our speed is 200 kilometers a day, and the time is 15 days. When we work that out, that would give us our distance. So our distance would be 3,000 kilometers. So I hope that clears up a little bit of what we've been getting stuck on. Again, if you are struggling with any of these sections, just try and spend some time on it. If you are still stuck, skip it and move on to another lesson. Don't waste your time on a single lesson if you are completely stuck with it. Just as long as you've done your best, that's all I'm asking. Right. And if in the future I keep getting messages like this, I'll continue to try and make these short videos to try and help you along. Okay, remember, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.